Did they miss us? Do you think they missed us?
A lot looks different on the 1203 experience today. Your boy Regraph is wearing a headset, which is new. Don't usually do that. Usually I just got the little AirPod. The background's different. I'm in a different area. I'm in a different room. Excuse the mess. We've only been moved in for like 3 weeks, but just because I'm in a different area, just because my beard is longer, and just because I'm talking through this little thing and not the big mic, doesn't mean this episode of the 1203 isn't going to be great. Parker Ray is with me as always. Parker, it has been a minute. How are you? I must still be muted. I apologize, Parker. I was still muted. Parker, how are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. I saw your video going, and I'm like, wait a minute. I think he's muted, but I don't know if he was trying to be funny. I didn't know what you were doing. But yeah, I'm good, buddy. It's been a while. We're a little rusty, as you can see, but I'm glad to get going again.
It's been a good month. The last show we came back from a 2-month hiatus, and then we told y'all, oh, we're hitting it hard. And then we went on another hiatus. Well, a lot has changed. A lot has happened. We both went on vacation. I moved across the state. A lot has changed, so bear with us as we kind of move in. The title of today's episode is The 1203, A New Chapter Begins. And there's a reason for that, because a lot is changing in both of our lives. We've always said this is an experience-based podcast, not a sports podcast. It's based on our lives and what we care about. And a lot of times, sports is what we care about, so sports is what we talk about. But the podcast is also subjective to what happens in our lives, and as of late, lives have been changing.
Lives have been changing pretty big, Reed, and I'll let you do your thing. I'll let you tell people what you've been up to, but what I've been up to is, of course, people knew I was a teacher in Kerrville, Texas for a while. That did not last as long as I would want it to, and mutual kind of things went on there. And, of course, ever since December, I left. I mean, December, I haven't really had a full-time job since then. I've been subbing pretty much every day like a full-time job, but haven't had a full-time job. I had to redo some things with my certification and get back ready again. And so I started applying for jobs again in June and got a job in Goose Creek ISD. It is the Baytown, Highlands, Harlem area. It's mainly Baytown, but there's some other little towns mixed in. It's a pretty big district. Got a job there, 6th grade math job at the Highlands Junior High, and I'm very excited to start my journey. I wasn't even a math teacher when I was in Kerrville. First off, I really do like math. I think I can definitely teach that more. I'm used to it. I can kind of explain that better. And coaching opportunities at the junior high in a big district. There's a lot of coaching spots that need to be filled every year in a district that size. It's in the Houston area. It's close to home. I've got a lot of family in Baytown, got a lot of family just around. So it's a nicer environment for me and another fresh start. And that's pretty much where I am, Reed. I mean, I've been trying to get back into the teaching thing ever since Kerrville. And of course, me and you have talked about Kerrville was definitely a messy situation for a lot of people, not just me, but I'm glad to be in a new area, a new spot, and back home in Houston. So that's pretty much what I've been up to.
I didn't know, and call me stupid, I didn't know there was a beach and palm trees in Baytown.
Oh, are you Oh, Reed, I think you froze again. But yeah,
I did freeze.
We're talking about the beach and palm trees in the back. That is not Baytown. That is not Pearland. If anything, this would be Hawaii. This is not even. Yeah, this would not be accurate for Texas. You're right. So yeah,
it was a good joke ruined by internet.
Yeah, you got cut off at the end. I was like, well, there's no beach here. Nothing looks like this in Texas. I can guarantee you that, especially Galveston. Maybe some spots in Corpus, maybe, but not anywhere close to where I am. No, it's a lot of oil fields and money here, Reed. That's about it. Oil fields, money, land, That's pretty much where I'm at as far
That
as the east side of Houston.
that looks a little bit like where I just was. I was in Cozumel 2 weeks ago
That would be
at a
accurate.
resort.
Yes.
Now that looks a lot more like where I was. I was gonna. It's like that doesn't look like I've been to Houston, and that's not. I love Houston. That's not Houston. I call Cat.
No, no. You got oil refineries instead of trees. You would see a lot of plants and oil refineries back there if
and
it was where I
and
was.
stuff blowing up and
And just
hurricanes.
stuff blowing up, hurricanes, and it's been rain. Houston is like the last frontier. I mean, it's a crazy place. You got to really want to live here. You know, of course, you got money here. That's great, but you got a lot of people that are just crazy. If you're a Houstonian for too long, you turn crazy. That's just it. That's the bottom line. It's a bunch of crazy, unstable people, and that's my demographic. That's why I'm ready to jump back into it because Kerrville was too calm for me. I need to be around shit. I need to have shit going on, and so that's kind of where I'm at. And honestly, where you're at, Fredericksburg, it's not as crazy as Houston, but there's a lot more going on in Fredericksburg compared to where you were at in Snyder, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I currently am in Fredericksburg, Texas. My wife and I moved here, I guess. We moved technically like 4 weeks ago because we moved before the trip, but we've really only been here like 2 weeks. So I started my new job. I am now the sports editor for the Fredericksburg Standard Radio and Post, the biggest non-metro weekly paper in the state of Texas. Pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I work with an awesome staff. All the people I work with so far, love them. I work with Joe Southern. He's the managing editor. He's a guy from that Houston area. He worked in Sealy. He worked in Rosenberg. So,
Yep. Sealy, I know where that is.
so he is he covered the Astros. He covered Texans. He's from that area. So it's cool
That's
to work.
awesome.
Cool to work with a guy from that area. And I mean, I've made it well known that's where I want to be. I want to cover Major League Baseball. I want to cover, if I could choose, the Houston Astros. And so it's nice to have a guy like that there. This is probably going to be the spot for Jess and I for quite a while. Right now we're in a little apartment, and eventually the plan is to go whatever opens up. Housing out here is crazy, so eventually we'll have to save up some money to get anything out here because it is bonkers. But it'll be a good spot for us, and so far we've enjoyed it. We've already made some friends. Those might be watching, like, what the heck am I watching? They probably don't even know about the show, but it's an exciting time for sure, and that's why I've been kind of MIA for a little while. We've been in the middle of the move, and you probably, for those of you that follow me on social media, you're probably just now starting to see stuff from me again. It's because I'm just now starting to get my feet back under me and settled here in Fredericksburg, so I'm starting to put out content again. And starting with Old Main. I mean, just because we've said this before, just because life changes, things happen, and we move different places, and maybe life pulls me and Parker just further and further apart. That's not going to kill Old Main. That's not going to kill the 1203. No. We're excited to keep this going, and 1203 experience is kind of the forefront of Old Main Entertainment right now. We'd like that to change. We'd like to add other things, but right now this is our biggest product, so we didn't want to let it die. I know it's been a little bumpy for the 1203 over the past few months, but we're going to get it going again. It's once we, obviously, for those of you that listen every week, this is not our usual stream time. Usually we were Wednesdays at 5. Now that's probably going to have to change because both of our jobs will not allow that time to work anymore. Parker and I neither of us will be getting off work till 5 most Wednesdays. So whether the show stays on Wednesdays, I don't know. Whether it's definitely going to get moved back in the day to 6 or 7 o'clock, probably 7. If I had to guess, we'll let you know on a date whether it gets moved to the weekend, which kind of makes the most sense from my perspective. And Parker and I haven't discussed this, but just wanted to give those who follow regularly an update on where we're at with the 1203. It's not dying. We're just working through some changes in our lives to figure out what's next for the 1203 and Old Main Entertainment.
And it's growing pains. I mean, I see it as growing pains because
I'd agree.
Right now we're in a spot where, you have a lot going on with Fredericksburg. I got a lot going on here now, and responsibilities for both of us may tend to grow. We're doing what we like to do, but responsibilities are going to start growing for us, and we have a lot more questions than answers right now for the people at home. So I apologize. We don't really know exactly what the future is going to look like. We just know it's still going to be us, still going to be me and Reed, and we're going to add some people on if we can. Right now, we're at 31 subscribers, so we're still slowly. I see that as a win, Reed. You know how excited I was to get to 30. We're at 31. So it's a small baby steps, but I see that as, YouTube's got to be one of the hardest things to get any kind of subscribers on. So I'm very excited that it's gotten to 31 and hasn't dropped. Because normally, you see them drop in a time, but our fans have stayed. The people we do that do listen to this show have a lot of positive feedback, and they do say a lot of positive things about us. I get text messages from people and say, "Oh, you guys do a really good show." So it's fun. The people who do give feedback are very positive. Of course, there's people that hate me on Twitter and things like that, but that's a different
Which we need
story.
to
But
talk.
we need to talk about
We have a
that. We need to talk about
development with
what kind of
Twitter,
person
which we're
I
gonna get to
really
that.
am.
We're gonna get to
Yeah,
that.
we'll get to
but
that in a little bit.
We'll get to that before we get on to the sports. But yeah, I mean, that's where we're at right now. We're kind of feeling it out. The long-term goals stay the same, and why we created Old Man Entertainment stays the same. That hasn't changed. We created Old Man Entertainment to give people like us, people who aspire to be in any kind of media, or really just have something they want to get out. We want to help people make content, whether that be through the blog that we're eventually going to upgrade and get the website all set up. That's one of our long-term goals. We've already had some one or two people reach out and help us financially with that. David Mosqueda being one of them. I want to make sure that we mention him a lot. He's already put some money towards it. So we have our goals, and we want to get more people involved. And for anybody that listens, if you want a place to write your articles, if you want a place you want someone to help you start your own podcast, Old Man, us two. Really, there's three of us. I'd say there's three committed, and then a fourth one that contributes when he can. We're all willing to help, and all you got to do is ask myself, Sean and Chondo, Parker, and then Ryan Graff. I'd say that's our crew right now. We'd love to help. We're all very kind of at the bottom, working our way up too. But if you want to join along, the more people that can get involved, the faster we can get this train rolling and kind of make some progress on that. But that's where we're at right now with Old Man Entertainment and 1203. When things change, we'll let you know. Eventually, we'll get the domain oldmanentertainment.com. It's a long-term goal. We'll get there, and eventually we'll start blogging regularly and get that kind of stuff going. But right now, you get to just enjoy the 1203 as the main product of Old Man Entertainment. But hey, that is not a bad product.
No, this show was pumping up. Hey, when we were doing this show every week, we were gaining some traction, and of course, things happen. We got to stop. But I promise you guys, not every show is just us sitting here explaining our lives. We actually dive into current events, which I'm sure Reed's gonna set us up on that. But he tees it up. I try to knock it out, and that's kind of our formula. Reed, of course, he'll react to some stuff too. Sometimes we fight live on air, like Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather.
It happens quite often, and honestly, those are the best episodes. So,
yeah,
and honestly, you'll hear us argue.
Yeah.
Wait till football season starts. That's when the arguing begins, because I'm not a big enough basketball fan to argue with him over basketball. We agree on baseball, but football is where the difference is. So stay tuned for football season. That's where things get interesting.
Reed knows how to push my buttons on any of them, though. Even if
it goes both ways.
No, he knows how to do it. I know. I guess I do. I'm a sweet angel. What do you mean, Reed?
Oh, you're just the best. Speaking of being a sweet angel.
Oh yeah.
You made a decision.
I did.
A decision
I made a life decision.
I did not see coming. Is it a quarter-life crisis?
Probably. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna make it to 100, buddy. But maybe it is.
Is it a midlife then? How what are we expecting? What's the?
Okay, fine, Reed. You want to tell? I'm gonna live forever. Damn it, I'm gonna live.
There
forever.
we go. There we go.
I'm never gonna die, Parker. Even when I die, I'll still be here. I'll be haunting people.
You'll be haunting
graves.
people.
But
then you'll get your Twitter back.
Yeah, Twitter is gone. So Parker. So listen, it's funny because I don't really. I obviously have political views. I have things I share. I have things I get heated about and talk about and get passionate about. And a lot of times now that I'm kind of not as much into the sports world as I used to be, most of what I talk about now is current events. And even when you talk about current events now, your political views kind of show a little bit. The more you talk, the more people figure you out, and the more people put you in a box, or they think they figure you out, and they put you in a box. And so, yeah, I've been open and honest about my conservative views on things, and a lot of the things you guys can check out videos if you're kind of like-minded, or if you don't, or you're not like-minded like me, and you want to argue with me, that's fine. But we have a show on the Old Man Entertainment called Parker and Dad. We've just done 23 episodes. We did
Another one of our long-standing shows.
yesterday, and so that's one of the shows I take a lot of pride in, and I do have a lot in common with my dad, and we both just kind of discuss. He's in his 50s, I'm in my 20s, and we both just discuss current events and politics and stuff like that. And a lot of it has died down since new president took over, and things have kind of died down a little bit. But there's still a lot out there to talk about. So we get on with stuff like the Olympics. That girl in the Olympics who got in trouble for smoking marijuana. We got on with the girl in the Olympics who was, she turned her back to the national anthem. We talk about stuff like that. And anytime I tweet or talk about it on social media, especially Twitter, for example, I notice I tend to lose followers or get a negative backlash. And so I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't feel appreciated here. I don't think I'm going to stick around. I've gotten a lot of nasty comments from people. And so, when I post something, I expect it to get reactions, maybe not all positive reactions, but I do expect it to get reactions. I don't expect to get attacked. And that's sometimes what has happened. I have DMs I have to go in and delete, people trying to message me. And, it's just random people, right? And Twitter is so bad about that. You can hide behind a profile, you can hide behind an avatar or whatever, and you can post all kinds of stuff. And to me, I've always put my face in front of it. I've always said, this is me. This is who I am. And there's not a lot of people like that in this world. I know you're like that, Reed. You take ownership of what you say. I take ownership of what I say. Not a lot of people like what I say, but I'll take ownership. But the people that hide behind all this is negative kind of personal attacks, I just got tired of it. And they put you in a box if you don't think a certain way, at least from my experience. And so I decided to just get rid of it. I actually downloaded another app. It's kind of like Twitter, but it's called Getter, and it's the same username and everything if you guys want to really follow me on there. But other than that, you can follow me on Instagram. I like Instagram because you can post pictures and you kind of leave commentary out of it. You got PRay63 is my Instagram. You guys can follow me. I will follow you back. I don't really care about the ratio on that. I'll follow whoever on there. And Snapchat as well, PRay63. And then, of course, on Facebook, if you friend me on Facebook and you message me and tell me, hey, you're a friend of the show, and you lead with that, I'll probably accept your friend request. I mean, I'm not too picky. If you say I'm friending you because I'm a friend of the show, I'll probably say, hey, that's cool. I'll probably accept it and we can go from there. I'm not too picky about who I friend on there either. If you tell me who you are, messages are open. So if you want to message me, you can. But so that's kind of where I'm at. You can still reach me on places, and you can always contact Reed. You can contact if you really want to get a hold of me. I don't know if you're really just that desperate to know what I'm thinking. Then you can find ways to get a hold of me. But yeah,
you just watch Parker and Dad or the 1203.
Comment on the YouTube channel, and I'll get back to you, and then we can get in a little fist for cuff on there. But yeah, it's crazy the world we're in, Reed. A lot of people our age just don't think, not even like you're saying you think like me, but you think like me as far as human to human interaction. It's just kind of gone to the wayside. There are a lot of things that would be solved if you just talk to people face to face and communicated with people face to face. And it's a lot harder to be mad at somebody if you're talking to them face to face and you see them in person. And you're not just tweeting at somebody, you're actually talking to somebody. You got a lot of internet bullies out there that think they're tough, but they've never done anything, noteworthy in their life, So it's like you get these high school dropouts tweeting at you. It's just like, it's just funny to me. But yeah, it's over with now. I moved on. And I can still talk on here as much as I want. So that's a bonus.
Yeah, it was a shocking one, but I do understand it. I mean, even just sports debates on Twitter, you're arguing with,
You're not arguing with high intellectual
guys. You're arguing with LA Dodger fan 6972, and his picture is just a Dodgers thing, and he's telling you that you need to eat your children. This is a human being.
I'm
not going to argue with you if I don't know who you are. I can't. Like you said, my profile picture is me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
So I'm not hiding. It's me.
And you're
Reed
a professional. And and you're a professional.
I have a public image. I'm a sports
Yeah.
editor. You can find where I work. You can send letters to editors. I ain't going back down from you, but I'm not going to argue with Garrett Cole's lover 247. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm not doing it. So,
and that's my thing
I'll just block
teacher.
you and move on.
Yeah, as a teacher too. I mean, you have a public image. As a teacher, I have a public image as well, and so it's kind of like, these kids, man. I'll tell you, I was teaching in kindergarten for a little bit. These kids found my Instagram. These students I was teaching actually found my Instagram, started following me on there, and I'm like, this is not. I mean, I blocked them, but it still scared me that they were able to just look me up and find me on there. And I'm like, listen, I'm a teacher. I'm above you guys. You're my students. We don't need to be friending each other or whatever. And
Imagine
so
if they watched the show.
I just kind of got started away from that. What are you saying?
Do you think any of your kids have watched the show?
Oh, I'm sure they have because I told them
bet they love it.
I bet they do. But, I'm getting a new crop of kids, so we'll see how they.
That's one way to gain subscribers. You're going to have to sell this show to your kids.
Well, this will be the only way to contact me.
You're going to have to take one for the team. You're going to have to, I know that new paycheck's going to be nice, but we got to grow old man. You got to get us some subscribers. What do you got, like 20 kids per room?
I'll probably have about 80 to 100.
Boom. Look at that.
I'll probably have about 80 kids. But you know what, Reed? Like you said.
Right? I bet we can get 20 of them in each class to sub. Boom.
Popularity was so cool to me when I didn't have a paycheck. And now that I have a paycheck, it's like, I kind of like my paycheck now. It's funny how that works. It's funny how life works. I was looking at apartments the other day, and these apartments I'm trying to move into, I mean, they're pretty nice, man. They're like, it's really nice. So I'm trying to live that, the upper echelon lifestyle a little bit and kind of relax. But I'll take some chances, but I'm not going to take chances like I used to back when, I was in college and I would just say or do anything. You remember those days, but
I'm sure there's been some good moments from the old 12. Let's get to some sports. 1203 was born from talking sports. We spent the first 20 minutes just chatting shit. Let's talk sports. And we're going to talk about before we get to the Houston Astros, I've been holding it in. There's one F-bomb per show. One.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck Trevor Bauer. That scumbag piece of crap.
This is it.
We got what he deserved. We knew it all along.
This is the show right here.
Oh, my gosh. Show. Yes.
No, I'll
Screw
tell you
him
that right now.
And his Monsters, Inc. Joe Kelly buddy. Screw both of them. I'm done with them.
I have a bone to pick, and I know what you were saying, and I don't know. We kind of got crossways a little bit because we were just joking around on that group chat we had with Old Main. Sean kind of tried to put us against each other, but really what Sean was saying, Sean Anchondo, by the way, I'll call him out. What he said was stupid. All right. He was trying to compare like Astros fans when we're talking about people cheating. He was trying to say, well, everybody, everyone has a wife beater on their team or whatever. I think that's like the comment he said. And I was just like, you know what? That's a whole, you're talking about people who cheated to hit a baseball, not someone who hit a person, who hit a woman. It's a completely different
Violently.
thing. I could not follow his train of thought on that. I'm like, listen, there may be people out there that have those guys on their teams. I realize that, but you're talking about Astros fans defending stealing signs to someone defending, I beat up a woman.
And he doesn't even deny it.
He's a punk.
He doesn't even deny it. He goes, it was consensual. I can't even talk about what he's accused of because this show would probably get banned off YouTube. It is that graphic.
Bad. It was bad.
It is graphic. The fact that you can be accused of that and be like, but it was consensual. It doesn't matter if it was consensual. You cannot do that to another. That is assault. If I walked up to you and said, hey, assault me, and you assaulted me, you're still getting arrested because that's assault. There is a line between kinky sex and assault, and he crossed it. Whether it's consensual, the whole argument that him and his defense is taking, it's not even, I didn't do it, she's lying. It's, it was consensual. That's such crap. And even if let's say he gets off scot-free, doesn't get any charges because it's deemed consensual, Who wants that guy in their clubhouse? Who wants the guy that does that to women? That.
That in
Nobody.
particular.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants him in the clubhouse. Name a team, and any team that takes him, they're ruining their image. Like,
Yeah. And it's an issue of honestly it's a bad business decision when you take a guy like that. I mean, if you want to look at it as money, a bottom dollar, because that's what these owners do. They look at it as money. They don't care about probably the what happened. They just care about the money. It's a bad decision. It's a bad business move if you got
and
a guy
it
like
was a
Bauer.
bad move when the Astros did it with Roberto Osuna too.
It is.
But
It is.
But the difference was Roberto Osuna was never convicted, and he took the stance, I didn't do it. It's false, and he was never proven guilty.
Bauer had a scummy answer to his.
Bauer
like,
straight up
consensual.
said, Bauer straight up said, I did it. It was consensual. And if whoever's listening, if you're curious, you can go look up what he did on your own time. It is graphic. It is not okay in any scenario, consensual, not whatever. It is just on another level of effed up. And the fact that the Dodgers weren't even going to bench him. The MLB had to bench him. They had to put him on administrative leave. Dave Roberts and them, they weren't gonna. He was still scheduled to start, and the only reason he didn't start is because MLB stepped in and put him on leave for the investigation.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know, and I don't know. And the point I'm taking is, people just have such selective outrage, and it's the problem with society. It's the problem with the I guess the world we live in. But like, people got so much more upset at the Astros for what they did as far as cheating goes. And you hear, all these pitchers, they cheated as well, whatever, that kind of got whatever. But then it comes out that Bauer, that one of the main guy on the Dodgers, who has
the highest paid player per year in baseball.
The public, yeah, exactly. That should show you where the values are of this world. But
it's only like a 3-year deal, but he's still the highest paid player.
The highest paid, yeah, exactly. And so he's the guy who was leading the charge against the Astros, one of the main guys that really led the charge against the Astros. And everyone's like, well, he's just being funny. I love his rants, and I'm sitting there saying, you guys know he is a complete asshole. I mean, he is just the worst scum
he's
you
a
can
psychopath.
think of.
He's a psychopath.
He's a psychopath. And I look in his eyes and I can see it. I mean, you look close into that young man. Or he's not young. He's an old man. I guess he's our age. But look into that guy's
28, 27.
Yeah, look into that guy's eyes and just look and just see. He's crazy, man. I mean, he should not be in the league, and that's just unacceptable behavior. So I don't know. I mean, to me, you would consider like really strong backlash, and all I'm getting is, it was consensual. Bauer, the Bauer's just doing what he does. Boys, it's just stupid responses to that. And so I'm just like, the world has just gone to crap, man. The world isn't the people's values. If it's not there, if it's on their team, they don't care. If it's not their team, they're just like, eh. They care, but it's just like, it's so weird what they choose to be mad about.
Well, I had to get that in because I've never liked Trevor Bauer, and
I almost forgot about that.
And now I'm glad that his true colors are showing. I'm glad that I'm not happy to see a guy's career go to shambles, but when he's that terrible of he's not even, and that's not even something a human being would do. When he's that terrible of a being, he doesn't deserve anything. So I hope he ends up having to sell his brand new car and all his whatever. Screw him. Let's move on. Let's talk about some good things. The Astros are going to win another World Series. And the reason why is nobody can stop them offensively. They have the best offense in the league. The rotation's pitching up. You got guys like Luis Garcia and Jose Urquidy just pitching out of their minds. Framber Valdez, Lance McCullers is pitching like a Cy Young, the guy that you paid him to be. The only weak link is the bullpen, and we're apparently linked to Craig Kimbrell.
Wow.
So we're obviously willing to make the move to improve the team so that it can compete at a World Series level. Things are looking good in Houston right now. I mean, I know we had that weird series against Baltimore, but before that, we're cruising. We're kicking everyone's ass. Take 2 out of 3 from Oakland. Oakland gets up 6-2 on us in Game 1, and Jordan just pops the hell off. He's the best. He's top 5 hitter in all of base. He is literally David Ortiz-esque. Like, he is that good. I don't think people realize how special of a hitter Yordan is. Yordan is a power hitter with elite power that doesn't strike out.
Yeah,
that is insane.
And I'm telling you, man, and I like the fact that Jose Altuve said, you know what? You guys don't deserve to see me in the All-Star game. I'm going to rest up, and I'm going to help my team win a World Series because that's what I want to do. He's been to All-Star games. He knows how it goes. And, yeah, I'm so proud of those guys because, listen, these people that I guess are going to be at the All-Star game, most of the fans that are going to be there are probably going to boo the crap out of them anyway. So my thing is they don't deserve to witness greatness. They don't even like greatness. They don't
They're
want to see
Rockies fans.
Yeah, they don't want to see the Astros succeed. Yeah,
they had greatness and sent him to St. Louis.
Yeah, they don't care. They're Rockies fans, exactly. Especially them. But poor Rockies. But
I don't mean to crap on the Rockies.
They're not even as bad as some of the other fans out there. But yeah, it's just funny to me because all these teams, they hate the Astros so much. Then fine. If you don't want to see greatness, if you don't want to see Altuve or Correa, if you want to boo those guys, then fine. You don't get to see them. Next time you see them will be when they're playing your team in the regular season.
Up 8-0.
And they're up 8-0, and you're just booing you're booing your normal team because they suck. That's the next time you'll see them.
Yankees fans.
Yankees are not going to make the playoffs. So happy about that.
I bet they make a wild card, but still.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean they're above 500. They're too talented. They'll go on a run at some point and sneak into the wild card and then lose the Yankee way, or they'll reach the ALCS and then lose to Houston. That's
fine.
This Yankee generation is doomed for failure, and I love it. I honestly genuinely like some of the players on the Yankees. Like I really like Aaron Judge. I've never had an issue with Mike Stanton. But you play for the Yankees, and
so you never really had anything against Aaron Judge. I mean, I guess he's just annoying
not really
because he's on the Yankees.
The thing that makes Aaron Judge annoying is how much the Yankees fans push him. It's not Aaron Judge himself.
And the media with the all rise and all that.
Well, it's because he's the Yankee superstar. Yeah. He's gonna get shoved in your face and shoved down your throat. But really look at Aaron Judge's interviews and like get to know him.
Yeah.
He's a genuinely nice dude. He doesn't do any of the crap talk. He's not a Cody Bellinger where he's talking shit about Houston even though he knows damn well they're cheating too. I mean, Aaron Judge.
I hate the Dodgers way more
now.
Aaron
Judge, Aaron Judge keeps to himself and he's just a quiet superstar who hits 500 football. I like Aaron Judge. He just happens to wear pinstripes and there's nothing I can do to help him with that.
You know what? And I think the Yankees, the hatred for them will come and go. I think as far as the Dodgers,
I love them right now because they suck. I'm not worried about it.
I mean, that's true.
I'm okay with them right now.
I think as far as the Dodgers go, though, I will always hate the Dodgers until I am not on this earth anymore. I just can't stand any. First off, LA teams in general just piss me off because you guys don't care about sports. LA does not care about sports. Go make a movie.
Showmania might change that. Can we talk about Shohei Ohtani? Can we talk about how rare of a player he is? I do want to calm people down about his pitching because he only pitches like once a month, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's such a good pitcher." I mean, yeah, should he just focus on? Shouldn't he? I think long term, something else. Long term, he's going to end up being a hitter because they're already limiting his innings so much, and while he's on the mound and he's good when he's on the mound, when you have a guy with that kind of offensive value, you don't want to take him out of the lineup ever. And if pitching means if him on the mound where he's number 2, I mean, if he was just on the mound, I bet he'd be an ace. But if you're trying to bat and pitch, I bet his ceiling's probably a number 2 pitcher, that's somewhere around there, because you really have to focus on your craft. And when he is as elite offensively as he is, and he is an MVP caliber player in the outfield and at the plate, why risk losing that production by throwing him on the mound? Just let him hit.
And that's my thing is I don't think you get enough out of him as a pitcher to want to say, hey, we want you to concentrate on that. I think hitting is – think about the Angels, though, for a second. They've had
32 homers, man.
Think about 32. The Angels. Think about the LA Angels. They've had Trout and Ohtani, and they might they might honestly waste both of their careers. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're ever going to be a contender. So, I
Not
mean, maybe
until
one
they
day.
really anchor down the rotation and bullpen, because
It's a mess. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's every year we talk, because that's just the difference in baseball and other sports. Is baseball, you can have maybe one or two really, like, arguably one or two. I mean, they have two of the best players in the game,
if
and
not
they
the two
still,
best players. I mean, Trout's a
yeah.
no doubter when he's healthy, and then I feel like you can put Shohei in the number 2 category with guys like Fernando Tatis and
In any other sport, you would make the playoffs most likely, but in baseball, you can have the two
you
best
got to have
players.
more around that. I mean,
You got to have a team, man.
yeah.
You got to have pitching. I mean, it comes down to. I guess it does come down to pitching.
When
but,
Otani's not on the mound, their best pitcher is Dylan Bundy, who can be
yeah.
good at times, but really overall is not a guy I would. If I was going game 2 of the World Series, Dylan Bundy is not the guy I want on the mound.
No,
And
a
that's
little
their number
test.
2 guy.
That's a little test I like to do. It's like, okay, well, you need 3 solid guys at least, and they have Otani, and then after that, it's like, that's the kind of thing about the Astros, man. I was worried about who would these guys have, but so many have stepped up. Getting back to Houston.
I
now.
think game
so
1,
many guys have stepped up.
game 1, Lance. Game 2,
Game
Greinke.
1, Lance.
Game 2, Greinke.
Over Greinke. Okay.
Lance is a side, dude. He's an ace. He's just come
Okay.
on so strong. So game 1, Lance,
I like
and we know that he will deal in the postseason. He's been there. So
he's better in the postseason than he is.
Game 1,
season.
Lance. Game 2, Greinke. I'm comfortable going game 3, Framber. I think
Framber.
Framber will get it done.
Framber's my guy.
Game 4, Luis Garcia has shown he can rise to the occasion. Jose Urquidy has been there before. You got
Jake
Odorizzi has been in the playoffs before. You have
Odorizzi has stepped up.
You have
Odorizzi has stepped up.
A lot of teams don't have that many options. We have 6 to 7 capable starters. How many other teams can say that?
I know, and it's like they said they were going with the 6-man rotation, and that's
Christian
when they started,
Javier is in the bullpen.
That's when they started winning those games. Yeah, Javier, another guy.
He's so good.
They started winning those games. Dusty is like, well, we can just do 6 guys and get our guys rested, and then we can pitch if you do that, you can pitch your starters longer into games because they get that extra day of rest. So it's actually, I think Dusty, I mean, as much as I talked crap on him before, he has kind of come around into a solid he knows what he has. He's got great starters. He's got a great offense. He knows his bullpen is weak, and so he's kind of turned that and kind of into his advantage and really helped these starters, get the most out of these starters. So
all he's got to do
excited.
is get to the 9th inning, and then Presley will shut that damn thing
Presley's
down.
an all-star. Yeah, Presley
is the best relief pitcher in the AL. He has been elite. I mean, Emmanuel Clase is probably the best reliever this year, period, on the Brewers, but Ryan Presley is up there. I mean, he has been so good since we stole him from the Twins a couple years ago. It's just elite out of the bullpen.
And I was thinking about Framber, your Dallas Keuchel comparison, and I was like thinking about it for a long time, and it finally hit me. And then I saw him
throws harder,
pitch.
But yeah,
he does throw harder, and I said that. But I also, I mean, you're spot on with a guy who hits the corners, throws a lot of strikes, doesn't waste a lot of time. Dallas Keuchel never really wasted time. He wanted the game to go
on
fast.
the mound go. He wanted to control the pace. He wanted to wear out the batters. Yeah. Framber does the same thing. I mean, it's a similar. They pitch pretty much the exact same way, except for Framber's got 5 more miles per hour on his fastball.
Yeah, and so there's just a lot of excitement.
He's probably got better stuff overall.
There's a lot of excitement with this group. I was also looking at umpires because during that stretch we were winning games. We literally, I think they threw Angel Hernandez at us, and then like the very next series they threw CB Buckner, probably the 2 worst umpires in the American League.
Still won,
I wanted to get your take on that, man, because it just seemed like, how do you get Angel Hernandez and CB Buckner literally within the same week? You get probably the 2 worst. I mean, they've got to be the worst umpires. I mean, both those guys were. CB, I thought Angel was bad. CB,
there's no beating.
It was bad.
There's no beating Angel though. Angel Hernandez has a history of being abysmal. So I mean, CB Buckner might have just had a bad series, but I mean,
Brett Strom didn't have any of it with CB. He just walked out to the mound and said, "You know what? Eject me because this game isn't gonna." Brett. I love Strom.
That was the
how he
Baltimore
handled it.
series, right?
I think so. I think it was the Baltimore series, and that series was bad for just various reasons. But yeah, it was just one of those series where Baltimore just came in, caught us at a. We were just kind of relaxing. I mean, at that point, it was just like,
Because
okay,
we had
have
been
Baltimore.
kicking everyone's teeth in for 2
We have
weeks.
Baltimore. We'll just drop these 3 games with them. Nobody will care. We'll move on.
I do want to make an official apology. It was wrong for me to shit on him. He has come on strong. I need to make an apology to Miles Straw. He has actually turned into a pretty good baseball player.
I never jumped off the straw wagon.
Still goes up to the plate.
Maybe I did.
He still goes up to the plate with a tennis racket, and then tries to hit homers and occasionally gets lucky. But he's getting on base. He's stealing bases. He's playing okay defense in the outfield. He's doing what I wanted him to do from the start, and I never expected him to be a George Springer replacement. I just wanted him to get on base, steal bases, cause havoc with his speed. And he's done just that in the back of the outfield, and I think he's done a good enough job to at least make losing Springer not hurt so much. And it helps when you've got Tucker stepping up and Jordan hitting. Jordan has come in and literally just taken George Springer's offensive production.
Don't forget, you're forgetting one person.
I mean, Brantley, he's always going to be there.
No, another guy.
Oh, Chazzy Boy. Chaz
McCormick. He's the reason people were shitting on Straw is because people thought, and I mean, at the end of the day, Chaz McCormick is going to be the better. I mean, he's already past.
I agree. I think he doesn't have the speed, and he doesn't quite hit for the average, but he has way more offensive production. He's an RBI machine. The dude is not afraid of the moment, and he makes plays in the outfield. I think Chas McCormick is probably a 1 to 2 time All-Star at his best. I think let him play out his career. Chas McCormick makes an All-Star game. I genuinely, he has come on strong. And now I don't know if he'll do that in Houston because Houston has so much coming up. Jake Myers at AAA is killing it. Brian De La Cruz at AAA, killing it. Pedro Leon can play the outfield. He's a AA starting to come on strong. So Jose Siri, AAA, home run machine. So, I mean, whether Chaz does it in Houston or not, time will tell. But, man, do I love watching that guy play. And
You think the Astros are getting punished by the league because they didn't have a single? I guess the fans, they didn't have a single starter in the All-Star game. I thought they would at least have one guy starting, but they didn't have a single starter in the whole.
Well, it's
lineup.
Tough because Jose Altuve is having a fantastic year, but Bo Bichette's also having a great year, and isn't he the guy starting at second in the All-Star game?
Someone made the argument that the Astros are great as a team. Don't get me wrong, but he said that if you look at each position, you can make an argument that there's probably 1 or 2 players better at each position. But still, 1 through 9, who would you rather have? I mean, who would you rather have than the Astros right now? Nobody.
There's not a better lineup in baseball. Yeah. Not right this second. There's not a better lineup. I'd argue there's not a better team, at least in the American League.
I think they can run. I think they can get there. I think they can win the American League because look at how they played Boston. Look at how they've played the top teams. I mean, it comes down to the National League
in the World
Series. Okay.
I think Altuve could have started over Marcus Semien, but...
Yeah. But Altuve said, screw you guys anyway. I'm not going to play.
I'm not going to play anyway.
That's fine.
Can we talk about Mike Trout making it in the outfield even though he hasn't played in 2 months?
Someone said... I think it was Ben Verlander, Justin Verlander's brother. I guess Ben, he does the MLB.
He's an analyst guy. Yeah, he's an analyst.
Fox stuff, I think. But he said you guys really shouldn't be voting for Trout. I mean, it was the same.
It's a respect thing, right? Because I mean, when you're as dominant as he is, that dude could play 1 month out of the season and still finish top 5.
It reminds me when Yao Ming used to be injured for whole seasons at a time, but because his presence in China, he would get voted in. I mean, he would get enough votes in the All-Star game to start to be the number one. I mean, he was up there with Kobe Bryant in votes when he shouldn't have been, but he was because and Kobe Bryant the same way. Kobe Bryant would be hurt one year and they'd still vote him in. So yeah, it's a respect thing. The fans will do what the fans do. It's really hard if you have a star in LA or a star in New York. It's going to be hard to beat those guys when you let the fans vote. I'm almost to the point of the All-Star game. I feel like they should start doing it different ways. I feel like there should be more weight. I don't know how it's weighted, but I'm tired of these fans because the more and more online stuff we get, the more like accounts you can make, the more bots you can make.
Well, let me
I
ask
feel
you
like
this.
you should change it.
When was the last time? So, and I know this stands true for me. How often do you watch the home run derby and not the All-Star game?
Oh, I watched the home run derby. Okay, so you know how they changed the All-Star game to where it really doesn't
Yeah,
mean
they took
anything.
away the where it doesn't decide home field advantage anymore.
Yeah, and so I watched. I'll be honest. I watched the games when it meant something because I was like, what if the Astros? It was back when the Astros sucked, but I was
We're
like,
awful.
what if the Astros? What if the Astros win and then they get the home field and then it's all? I thought it was going to be a cakewalk, but I was like, no, it never happened. But you're right. I don't, and I watched the home run derby, and honestly, the home run derby is the best all-star sports thing there is. It's better than the dunk. It's better than the dunk contest. It's better than anything the Pro Bowl does. The MLB home run derby. No one's ever gonna get tired of balls getting crushed.
Can we talk about
launched out of the? I'm excited.
I
about
am
the home run derby.
so excited for this year's home run derby. We're at Coors Field. They're not
gonna go.
And they've already said they're not going to use the dead balls. They're going to let them just use the balls that freaking launch. There is going to be at least 3 500-plus footers.
I hope so.
Joey Gallo's in it. Shohei Ohtani. Who else is in it? Ah, crap.
I might have to root for.
Let me pull it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you pull it up. I was going to say I don't. You know what? As the Rangers have gotten just worse and worse every year, I might root for Ohtani, but I think I might have to root for Gallo. If Gallo's in it, I want to see him.
Here.
I bet he can launch some baseball.
Let's do our home run derby predictions right here, right now.
Okay, give me the lineup and I'll predict.
And I'll go with you. So the first matchup is Shohei Ohtani of the Angels versus Juan Soto of the Nationals.
Oh no, I can't do Soto. I have to go Ohtani.
Soto.
I can't do Soto. Soto. I'm not that he's a bad guy, but come on. So all Astros fans heard was Juan Soto. He's 23 years old or whatever the fuck.
I think he was 21, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think Juan Soto is going to surprise people because I feel like
I think he'll do well.
He is such a slugger, but I feel like he's kind of gotten lost in the Fernando Tatis, Shohei Ohtani mix. Soto's a lot.
Ooh, Tatis.
He's legit. Right. So, I think I'm going Ohtani there.
Okay.
Salvador Perez, Pete Alonso.
Alonso's with the Mets, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that I don't know if he won it, but he went toe to toe with Vlad a couple years ago or last year.
I'll go Alonso.
I think I'm gonna go with you. I have to go Alonso, even though
Mets,
I love me some Salvi
Alonso
Perez.
Will win.
I love me some Salvi Perez, but I gotta go Pete Alonso. The dude's Joey Gallo, Trevor Story.
Oh, it's Trevor Story. Is it home field advantage for him, right?
Home field advantage, and he's
Story.
He's a tank hitter.
Story.
I'm going Gallo.
I pumped up Gallo, but I didn't know he was getting Story in the first round. I feel like Story's going to come out. He's going to come out balling.
I'm going to go Gallo that one.
Yeah.
Because Gallo has some unreal power.
You're right. And if it was a neutral field, like it wasn't, I know, because it's just going to be crazy with Story there.
You're probably right. Matt Olson, Trey Mancini.
Nah, that's a hard one for me. Okay, so who are the two guys again?
Matt Olson of the A's, Trey Mancini of the Orioles. Mancini's the guy that is coming back from cancer this year.
Ooh,
and is actually having a pretty good year.
Well,
if it helps you, I think I'm going to go Mancini here.
You are going to go Mancini on that?
I'm going to go Mancini. He's a slugger. But although maybe he's not a home run hitter.
And we just played the Orioles, and I should know the guy you're talking about, but it just doesn't click with me. So I guess I'll go Mancini. I'll go with the cancer survivor.
All right, so we got Ohtani facing Alonso in the second round by our predictions. And then let's go Story versus Mancini.
Oh, I'll go Story again.
So you got Story versus who? Alonso or Ohtani on the other side?
Oh, that's right. It's already down to that, isn't it? I'll go Story versus Ohtani.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think Ohtani wins.
Yeah, I think Ohtani. I think Ohtani is the guy who he'll upset the world. Not upset the world, but he'll upset Story in his home field.
Ohtani mania is just going to go nuts.
It's not as anticlimactic as it was because Ohtani just to me is he's the guy. He's the guy that everyone. I think it's just going to be an Otani show. I think it is going to be Otani. I think people are going to love it. If what's his face was there, oh well, I'm trying
Vlad.
to think. Yeah, well, Tatis isn't in the home run derby.
Well, he's more
I'm
of a line
surprised.
drive hitter. I mean, he can hit him out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick him to win a round unless he was facing,
Like live pitching,
like
probably,
at Bregman, because Bregman never should. Bregman's the same way. Bregman's a great hitter, one of the best hitters.
Bregman's
in
a
baseball.
line drive guy.
He's not.
That's
a home
how
run
I've
hitter.
always. That's how I've always thought you were supposed to hit the ball too. Like if you're just a prototypical hitter, that you get those line drive shots. Yeah, you're really. I think a line drive is more impressive than a ball that's hit 400 feet, in my opinion. But
I'd agree. I would agree with that. Okay, before we wrap up the show, let's get to a couple more topics. NBA draft. I know you don't want to touch on this a ton, because to be honest,
I just know the Rockets. Yeah,
be
I don't
honest,
want to touch it on a ton.
I don't think either of us have. We've both kind of been, as far as pro sports go, we've been baseball. So we won't talk a ton about the other sports, but I want to touch on them a little bit. Starting with NBA draft, Rockets are picking second.
Rockets are picking second, man, and I am excited about that. And I may pull up a mock draft here and see who the Rockets could take as I'm looking. But everyone, I always thought Cade may go first. Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State may go first. But if he doesn't go first, I feel like that's the guy you have to take. Some people are saying Jalen Green for the Rockets. He's a guard, 6'6", 186. He could be a position. There's another. They have another pick at 23. I think Cameron Thomas is what people are saying. He's a 6'4". He's another guard. So really, they're just loading up on guards. It doesn't look like a lot of people are predicting the Rockets to pick big men, which is kind of. I mean, I guess they got Kelly Olynyk. They got some size down there now, but they don't really have a lot of size. I would have thinking they go big man, but I guess that's the league. The Rockets have always been small ball, and I guess they're going back to that. But if they get Cade Cunningham, that would be awesome. But none of the mock drafts are even having him get to 2. I think he's going to get picked up at 1. So I guess look for Jalen Green maybe would be the guy they asked the Rockets get. I think they need to get a scorer. They need to get a guy who can score the basketball because scoring points was the biggest problem for them. They went on droughts where they just couldn't score. They went from a team last year with Harden, whenever Harden was there, they were a team that just could not be stopped. They would score 130 points a game. This year, it was hard to watch, man. They couldn't score anything. So I think if you're talking about scoring points, you do have to go to get those smaller guard type guys. If they wanted defense, they could have gone bigger and get some centers. But I'll have some more answers. Obviously, whenever the draft is closer. I don't even know when the draft is, but whenever the draft gets closer, I'll probably have more answers for that, hopefully, and we can dissect it a little more.
Yeah, and then did you see James Harden was in Paris with Lil Baby getting?
I know, and that was
higher than a kite,
bro. Right? I'm telling you, Nets fans, if we have any Nets fans out there, which we probably don't,
I highly doubt it.
You guys got to get used to Harden. This is what he does. Early playoff exits, and then he gets on drugs, and then he parties and he lives the life. Listen,
gains
I'm not
40 pounds.
Listen. Hey, I was doing James Harden before James Harden, man. I know about the life. I know about living the life. See, I'm out in Cancun right now, so I'm just saying. It's just funny. People expect James Harden to have this image like, oh, he's going to be a competitor. He's going to be killing. He's not a competitive guy.
Yeah, he's not a killer.
He's not a slit throat. He's not a slit your throat type of guy. So he's not going to do that for you. And if they think that's the answer for the Brooklyn Nets is James Harden taking the final shot, I mean, KD dropped 50 points and the Nets still lost to the Bucks. And the Bucks aren't even going to win the NBA championship. The Phoenix Suns are. So I'm just saying, like, the Nets are a couple steps behind where everyone thought they would be. They thought if they got Harden, he'd be the cherry on top. He could dribble, do his thing. Basketball, everyone was thinking it was going to be Nets, Lakers, and that just kind of fizzled out real quick. But I tell you, LeBron doesn't care about championships anymore. He's going to make Space Jams too. He's already done that. He's a movie star now.
He's already setting up retirement. I mean, why wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
he's achieved everything he wants to in basketball. He's achieved everything he needed to.
That's the whole reason he
Now
went to LA.
it's him, it's Michael Jordan, and it's LeBron, and he has no desire to get there. He's like, I'm good
done.
right here. Yeah,
he's done. He's accepted that he's not going to pass Michael Jordan. He's accepted. I think when
he's okay with. Oh, some people might think I'm better.
Yeah,
that's kind of where he is. Yeah,
and that to me is a kind of I mean, that's always kind of been my knock on LeBron. When things get a little too hard, he kind of just, he's whatever. He's going to join up with somebody or he's going to do something else. And
still a legend. Still a legend.
LeBron is a legend. He is better than 99.9% of anyone who's ever picked up a basketball. But there is that top echelon of players that will look at LeBron and say, well, you just didn't quite – like, to me, what CP3 is doing with the Phoenix Suns is incredible. Is nothing short of incredible. And while I'm not saying he's better than LeBron, if CP3 can bring this Phoenix Suns team from the brink of a team that wasn't even a playoff team, if he can bring them to a championship in like his first year there, it's unbelievable what CP3 is doing at age 36 with this Phoenix Suns. He's surrounded by all these young guys. He's got Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. He's got guys that have never even made it to the playoffs. And he's bringing them to the NBA championship. That is amazing what CP3 is doing. And LeBron, he's a guy that everyone wants to play with, and he'll get you there, and he's very good at what he does. He's a bulldozer. He can get to the paint anytime he wants, but it's just the way he's done things in his career. People, they leave it to be a little to be desired for some people, but other people love him. So I guess it's just who you are.
Yeah, it is what it is. NFL, not too far away, but still a little bit. Texans have had an interesting offseason. We still don't know the status of Deshaun Watson. Is he staying? I'm pretty sure he's gone, but
he's gone.
But
and the Texans are ranked according to NFL Power Rankings. They're like they're the last place team. I mean, 32nd is what they're ranked.
So I assume your hype level is not very high.
No, and I just say that because I said, you know me. I am perfectly, that's the type of human I am. I'm perfectly fine with tuning in on Sundays, watching the Cowboys lose. I might tune into the Texans. I don't know. But that may not be, like, honestly, for me, I'll watch the Texans, but my expectations will be very low. I've obviously deleted Twitter, so I don't really need to talk shit as much. I mean, Facebook, you can talk shit on there, but it's not really the same. So, I may not post a lot, so I'll probably just watch. I may Snapchat a little bit or whatever, but it won't be the same as past years when I was really into it, talking all that crap. Now, if the Texans get good again, I may have to create a bot account or something. I may have to create Texans fan.
Oh, you'll join. You'll be the one calling people's mothers goats and stuff.
I'll be part of the problem. I'll be Houston sports fan 572 or some shit, or 6969 booyah, booyah Texans fan.
So watch out for that, everybody. If Booyah 69 threatens to murder your family,
if the Texans are close to winning a
Parker.
Super Bowl, I might jump back on Twitter and just start tweeting shit and just be completely toxic. It will not be an account you want to. It will not be an account you want to follow if you're a human being with any decency. But
if you're on Twitter, are you really a good human being?
No, exactly. The more time you spent on Twitter, the worse I got, honestly.
Oh man, that's another episode of the 1203. Man. Always a fun show, always a great time. Again, like we said earlier, the show's not going anywhere. We will be back sometime next week, hopefully with a new date, with a new time, so that our viewers and listeners can get a little consistency, can start writing on their calendar, oh, here comes the next 1203. We want to set that consistently. We want to set that schedule. We'll figure out what it is. Parker and I will talk about it. And then next week, hopefully, we will try and figure out what the schedule will be.
And until August 3rd, it is what it is, man. Just whenever you're ready, let me know. I'm not doing anything until August comes around, and then I'm obviously once August starts,
and maybe
we're both going to be busy.
Maybe the schedule is not going to get set until August because that's when all my sports kick into. But we'll figure it out. Just know that sometime next week, probably in the middle of the week, like we've always done. I can't guarantee you when, but sometime. Stay tuned for another episode of the 1203. But that being said, I think that is going to do it for today's episode of the 1203. I'm going to buy a couple seconds while my outro loads, but again, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Remember on KTSW when I used to sing the intro and the outro?
Yeah, and they
That
got
was
mad
good
at you
times.
for it?
Yeah, I think that. Never mind. I don't want to say who stormed it in. But yeah, no, it was fun times, man. Those were some good shows. Miss it.
Peace.
Peace.